What's going on? Welcome to the Creator Factor podcast, a podcast where we help content creators build businesses and brands online. I am your host that loves you the most, Ozeal. And today, my friend, we are rocking another solo show. Just to let you know that my name is O and this is how we flow. I'm from Chicago. Okay, every now and then you'll hear me rap. Every now and then, all right. It's in my DNA. It's in my DNA, y'all. Sorry, I can't help it. Anyways, if this is your first time checking out the podcast, whether on YouTube, my friends, out on YouTube land, or on the audio platforms wherever you listen to the podcast, thank you so much for the love. Thank you for stumbling upon the podcast, and hopefully, I didn't ruin our relationship after that freestyle rap. But for those who know. I like to get down like that every now and then, especially with the solo shows. I like to get a little silly, just a little silly. All right. So in this episode, as I mentioned, I'm going to do a solo show, and it's titled Slowing Down Your Creator Journey. Now, I was inspired by this podcast episode I listened to a few days ago by Rich Roll. I don't know if you guys are ever familiar with the Rich Roll podcast. Highly recommend. You check out the podcast. It's in the self-development world. Love his content. And he had an interview with Cal Newport. Some of you may or may not know Cal Newport is a renowned author. He is a productivity expert. He's written books like Deep Work. He's written a book called Digital Minimalism. And he recently released a new book called Slow Productivity, which is on my list to read this year. And I am a huge productivity nerd. As a content creator with ADHD, I sometimes go down the rabbit hole, many rabbit holes at once. And can you relate? Sometimes I'm trying to produce and I'm trying to get on my hustle and trying to do all the things. And I find myself jack of all trades, master of none. And I felt like this book in particular, there's a lot of books that I've read about productivity before, and there's always some valuable tips. And I've noticed that there's not like a one size fits all. It depends on how your mind works, how you look at whether it's theming your days, whether it's scheduled blocks, the Pomodoro technique. There's so many techniques that we as entrepreneurs, as we creatives, have to embrace and experiment with to figure out what works for us. So in this new book, he challenges the conventional wisdom that faster is better, and that taking this philosophy, this approach of slow productivity, he argues that going slower leads to greater results, creativity, and just overall satisfaction. Just you feel better about the way you're moving forward. And I love this because in this day and age of instant gratification, where we're looking for that instant hits of constant hits of dopamine and satisfaction, it puts us in this space where we're always on the grind 24/7. Hashtag team no sleep. You've heard it all before, right? And although I'm not negating the importance of working hard and hustling, I think there's seasons for it. I was listening to this podcast episode, and there was a lot of things that he said that resonated with me. And I'm like, look, I gotta take some notes and share this with you, my Creator Factor fam. So here we are. We're gonna explore again some principles that he dropped about and how we can apply this on our creator journey. All right. So the first principle of the slow productivity approach is the importance of cultivating deep work. And deep work is our ability to focus without distraction, focusing on dedicating uninterrupted time, right, to create and just do the work. We can tap into this state of what he uses, flow state, and we can produce higher quality content. And it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And with quality, we do have to take a step back and slow our roll and create the best content we can deliver. I've been guilty of this. I've been on both sides. I've invested a lot of time and energy into quality and gotten tumbleweeds, but I've also have increased like my higher production value, higher audio, and everything is just a little bit more taken care of. And I've seen that it's yielded results. Like I've gotten more views, I've gotten the content has landed better. So there's something to say about both sides, depending on what stage you're in. But what Cal Newport talks about in this book is slowing down and focusing on quality. Even if that's you saying, I'm going to produce 2 pieces of content a month or one podcast episode, you know, weekly, but just slowing down and taking care of the craft, focusing on quality. And, one way that we can establish this is, either a daily or a weekly schedule, right? And carving out specifically, time to do deep work. And again, this is the deep work that's going to really generate, whether it's going to be income or generate um, a flow in your content marketing strategy, et cetera. So making it a priority to create a space for creativity, to push your own boundaries and to simply do the work, whether it's writing, whether it's understanding and learning more about crafting a great podcast episode or a YouTube video or whatever it is, but just focusing on craft, which is something that's overlooked and not talked about in the creator space. It's always about monetization. Monetize this, monetize that. That's great, but you got to first focus on the deep work and really get good at that. And then that could result into monetization and really building a brand and business around the work that you do. So that's the principle number 1 that I wanted to share with you. The principle number 2, I thought this is good, and I've been practicing this a lot more, is just really embracing, solitude and reflection. In this today's like fast paced world where we're bombarded with distractions and notifications, and it's a bunch of external noise. I find myself always plugged in, listening to things as well. And it's like finding that space where we can take the headphones off, where we can turn off our notifications and just find space for solitude, find space to recharge our creative energy. And that way it just gives us better clarity on our creator journey and what we're trying to accomplish. So one of the things that I'm practicing on, and it's been challenging, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be real with you, it's been challenging, but just taking breaks from technology, going for a walk when I can without my headphones. I like to listen to podcasts. I really do. Can you relate to this? I like to listen to podcasts. I like to watch YouTube videos. I like to feel like I'm learning something, but that's also this impulsiveness of constantly being plugged into the matrix, right? If you want to call it that way, but just being intentional about creating space for yourself, tapping into that creativity, and through that space of solitude and reflection, I do feel like we do get clear on what we want. And it just recharges our creative energy. And I think it's a healthier way to be more mindful about the creator journey. So that's principle number 2. And then the final principle that he shared was the importance of taking rest, the importance of recovery. We talked about unplugging, but in solitude, but this is also in the hustle culture, right? We're always on this go, go, go mode. And it's been challenging for myself, and I'm pretty sure you've been challenged by this before, but just embracing rest and recovery as part of what we do, and how we can actually, enhance our creative abilities and, avoid the pitfalls of overworking when we simply embrace rest, whether it's a day, whether it's certain blocks where you're just not doing anything and you're just in the space for reflection and solitude and just resting the brain, resting the mind, right? So prioritizing, and recovery is part of setting boundaries, which I think as creators, creative entrepreneurs, we have to set those boundaries, not only for ourselves, or not only for others, but for ourselves, and really recognizing those limitations that we have, and also giving ourselves permission not to feel guilty, not to feel like we're not hustling or we're not being productive. I know the thoughts of feeling lazy and just those thoughts are real. They creep up as creators, and it's important to make sure that we need that time to embrace that reset button and recharge. So prioritize rest, and will yield in sustainability for the creator journey moving forward. So let me know. Those are three things. And I'm looking forward to reading the book. There was a lot of things that he said that were really like, just, it resonated with me. Um, and I was just like, "No, this is pretty dope. This is pretty dope." I'm gonna riff off. I'm gonna show you some of my notes. So again, less things, do fewer things, right? Minimizing, and then just get obsessed with quality, and then embrace solitude, recovery, and then all of this is just to gain a greater sense of mastery. I think that was the important lesson here. Um, and then there was like 4 questions that he asked. What's important? What am I doing? What am I not doing? And then what are the systems and processes that I need to execute this? So again, these are the questions that you should always, these are good reflection questions, right? What's important, right? We should always revisit that question. Like, what's important here? What am I doing? What am I doing here? Am I chasing more rabbits down the rabbit holes? Well, what am I doing here? And then what am I not doing? What are your boundaries? What are you not going to not do? I'm not going to check social media during this certain block hour times, etc. And then creating the systems and processes. If you repeat it, Cal Newport is very big on, if you repeat it again, making sure that you create systems and processes where you either delegate or you have a system that allows you to do things more efficiently as a creative. So that's a little bonus right there that I took some notes. Let me know in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are excuse me, let me repeat that. If you are an audio listener, hello, new teeth, go ahead and check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification button. I'm going to be posting a lot more content on YouTube. But if you're audio only, listen, my audio phone, I'm an audio guy. I started a podcast with audio only. If you're listening to this and this is the way you consume and learn and just vibe, then continue vibing through audio. I'm with that. And huge favor. This is a huge favor I have to ask. And I need to do a better job. My coach tells me I got to do a better job of asking. So here's my huge ask. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure, this is the way you can help any creator. Share their content. Share it on social. Tag me at The Real Ozeal on Instagram, on Twitter. And I'm also on LinkedIn at Ozeal. And just share it, comment, and tag me on. I would love to show you some love and for sharing this content. The more we can reach other people, I'm not big on like just paid marketing and trying to get it out. I believe in just organic, building a community, the slow productivity approach, one subscriber, one listener at a time, and growing this organically. So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, thank you so much for giving me your time and attention. Never take it for granted. And thank you so much for this. I will catch you on the next episode of Creator Factor. We do have some interviews lined up for you. I'm really looking forward to that. But this is also a good time for me to be able to share some of my thoughts and for you to get to know a little bit about me and how I approach the creator journey and how we're trying to serve all the creators in our community as well. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace and one love.